Okay, we're going to talk about the first technique we're going to do. First technique we're going to work on is very straightforward, basic jab, Kizame Tsuki, straight off the front hand. All of the things we've spoken about, the platform we've set up, has to apply straight into that. Jabs are real, jabs can create a lot of power. You just need to think about all of the structure we've worked on. And from this point, we're going to push off our feet, articulate a hip around the axis, and push the punch out. Understand from here that I don't want to overextend. Don't chase a target. The final point I'll give you is the understanding of end point. I don't want to be from here chasing and just disrupting my own balance just to strike a target. Just to give you an understanding from the side what I was talking about with overextending, don't chase a target beyond and let your balance be lost. Stay within your stance, stay within your comfort zone for balance. From here, just push the punch out to the end zone. Whether you miss by a millimetre or 6 inches, just to there. If you overreach, you'll be slow to come back, you'll get caught, your punch will slow down, you'll have no power beyond that point. So from here, just overextending too much, very bad for the punch. What we need to do is keep ourselves nice and tight, centred, and there, just punch to the end point and back. The next technique will be a cross or a reverse hand, Gyaku Tsuki. Same alignment, think of all the things you've learnt from here, push from your hip, straight out. Have an end point and back. This very simple punch. You adjust the height as you need it. Push off your back foot first, and that's the whole punch. The final thing we need to understand about throwing a punch, whether it's a jab or another technique, is what we do when we actually strike the target. So as we push off our feet and articulate through our hips out to a target, we need to then lock our body for control and also for delivery of the power. So we're relaxed until the end. Relax, punch, lock, and then back to your defensive position. Do this with every punch you throw. Okay, the next technique we'll do is an uppercut, straight rising punch, Ake Tsuki. Most people when they do an uppercut, swing and lean. Remember your axis, very important. Stay straight, stay true. Elbow still pointed at hip, the alignment doesn't change. From our kamae or our defensive position, just need to lift our hand with our elbow in line with the two softer knuckles that we've always been going over. There, straight up, very simple. The main thing to remember about an uppercut is that we're driving a lot of power out of our hip. That articulation of our hip is very important. It's a short arm movement, therefore my body must create the power. And here, just want you to think about my hip, watch my hip, and it's where it drives from there. Don't get out too far, just lift into the target. Simple as that. Okay, moving on to a hook, or Kyagi Tsuki. The main thing to think about with Kyagi Tsuki is keeping the elbow at the point of impact behind the two knuckles that we're striking with. Most people when they do a hook swing their hand. Don't swing, push with the elbow. So as we come from our hip, we articulate. The articulation of our hip is very important, and the high lift of the elbow so that we have some body in behind that technique. There. Whether it comes from the front hand or the back hand, it is the same motion. Just the articulation of our elbow moving, drive off the ground, articulate our hips, push the technique into the target. The next technique we'll work on is a rip, body shot, Shita Tsuki. So from here, very important to align our elbow, fist and hip into the target. Now drop your hand back to your hip and push. It's it's an unuseful telegraph. We don't need it. Just drop in and push forward. Steer the punch by the hip into the target. And lock on impact. Remember, lock on impact. From there. The last technique I want to work on is an overhand strike. Most of the people, again, they swing their hand. Swinging your hand is easy to block and easy to see. You need to get our elbow behind this punch. By getting your elbow up high, lifting up behind the two cipher knuckles, and driving down. Again, hip behind the punch. Drive off our legs, all the things we've spoken about previously. Up, strike. So we can block perhaps up into the target, not a swinging action. So we've been through a whole number of principles, setting yourself up with power, setting your structure up, understanding the principles that go behind generating the power, and then we went through some basic techniques. But now you need to go and practice from there your jab. Slowly, think of the mechanism of the punch. Slowly through the jab 4 or 5 times, and then fast. And slowly and fast. Same with your reverse hand. Slowly, fast, slowly. So 5 slow, 5 fast. Uppercut, hooks. All of the others, then start some combinations. Right, uppercut, hook. So we understand, you need to understand the transition between one to the other. Okay, just to conclude, things you need to think about, key points. Make sure we're grounded. If you're in the air, you don't have any drive. Make sure you're grounded when you throw your punches. Make sure you're steering and creating energy through your hips, through the articulation, via the elbow into the hand. All of these things to get the power from your body into the target. Try not to think about your arm as the muscle. Just use it to steer, to guide the power into the target. That's why the different techniques are. They're just a steering mechanism to an endpoint. Think of your endpoint. The endpoint will be the end of your extension, the end of your balance, not beyond it. These things will create problems if you try and overdo them. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm James Duggan.